We right back at y'all. We still here live at Ernst, okay? We're in Dumfries, Virginia, in Triangle Shopping Plaza. Come on, stop through. Joseph will take care of you. Right now, we're entering into a segment of the show that we like to call Heartbeat of the Community. Now, in Spring Valley High School in South Carolina, there was a certain or particular security guard, I like to call it. When I was in high school, we didn't really have security guards. We had hall monitors. But this guy was a full-fledged security officer. Took the liberty of putting his hands on somebody else's child because she was on her telephone and she was told on numerous occasions by the teacher to get off the phone. And yeah, she was being rude. But by no means should anyone, any adult, put their hands on someone else's child without the parents' consent. Now, with that in a nutshell, what would you do, or any of you guys do, if you got the call, okay, that an adult? Might I add, my wife is a school teacher, and she said it's so hard to get parents up to the school for PTA meetings. But as soon as somebody called them talking about somebody put their hands on the child, they breaking the doors down to get up there ready to fight.
Well,
it's crazy to me.
No, you got to understand that part. As a parent, the worst phone call you can give me is some adult that's put their hands on my child. Now, I'm a mannered person, you know, I'm a legal, you know, law-abiding citizen, but I will go absolute berserk.
Ham.
You understand?
I was getting ready. That's what I was saying. Exactly.
I will bring the ham bone. You understand?
I ain't gonna bring a ham bone. I'm gonna bring a hammer while you playing.
When people decide to abuse the authority they've been given, because we all know that what happened was wrong. It was wrong, first of all, from the teenagers' part of it.
Disrespecting authority.
Okay? Now, but that's to be expected with teenagers. They haven't fully developed. You know, we don't know what the home situation was like. And I think the backdrop to that story was there was problems at home in terms of her mother not being able to do certain things. Or, you know, there was a situation where her home life wasn't exactly stable at that point. Okay? Now, it's not the school resources officer's position to intervene in the way he did.
Yeah.
He went at her like she was the enemy. Okay? She was unarmed. Okay? Was she disrespectful? Sure. There's a better way to handle that. Okay? I could not be that parent because I think each and every one of you all know that I would have foot to tail in that office. You wouldn't have to worry about them coming to get him. Okay? He'd be running to get locked up.
So now, so what would you say then?
A Nike-ectomy.
To the teacher that stood by
idly and let that happen.
Didn't do anything.
It was cowardly. It was cowardly.
Or was he trying to protect his job?
You know what?
Did his job come before the safety of the child?
It should not have, because when you take that position, you're there to instruct and teach, not just the curriculum. Okay, I had teachers in my life that took me to the side and taught about life. Okay, if they saw you, you know, doing something stupid or wrong, they checked you on. But they did it in a way that showed that they cared versus they were in authority. See, there's a difference between the two. You can have authority, but you don't necessarily have the common sense that goes with the position.
In addition to this, now, Patrice, they said that this wasn't the first time that this guy had done something. So do you think, first of all, he should have been out of a job, I think, maybe the first time
Exactly.
anything remotely close to that.
Right.
Exactly.
And it would have been beneficial on the school's part to fix the situation before it got this far, because now the school has a situation that this was not only his first time, second, third, and maybe some more. So now the school can be at fault too for
They are
allowing
at
a
fault.
person
They are
like
at
this
fault.
to stay on their payroll.
Well,
They are
I'm gonna
fault.
take it a step further, okay? Because I don't want anybody to miss the element that is the big elephant in the room. The racial content of this remains the same over and over and over. You don't see black teachers slamming white kids. You don't see
They're scared to do
black
that. Let's put it
cops
out there. They ain't gonna
killing
do it. They're scared to do
white kids.
Hasn't that happened though?
It has happened.
And
But-
and
but-
from my understanding, they hurried up and locked them 2 black guys that shot the little
That
white
is
boy.
my point exactly. When you find that happening, justice moves a whole lot more swiftly. Doesn't take over a year, from October to November to
And that's
get
just for
them
an arrest.
for the arrest, not the conviction. Okay, because they ain't nothing guaranteed. So the point being, these things are happening, but they're a microcosm of society, because what actually is happening is now that people have cell phones and can record everything every day, everybody's part of the media now. Okay? And thank you for TMZ. Thank you for all of the news outlets who are reporting the truth. It used to be if you read it in, a certain magazine, it was garbage. Turns out that 90% of what they report is actually have an element of truth to it. Okay? So the Inquirer I'm talking about from way back in the day, if y'all don't remember. The thing that I'm saying now is the media is everywhere. Ask Johnny Manziel, how the media can affect you almost immediately. You make a mistake, it's right there. Somebody can't wait to record you. So when we get these school resource officers, when we get these police officers who are sworn to protect and serve, okay, not protect their job and serve you an ass whooping. Okay,
Well,
that's
I
not how
think-
it's supposed to be.
I think that you shouldn't even qualify to be a police officer if you're scared. If your first thought is to shoot, then I don't think you should be a police officer.
But
I think
Byron,
they should have some
most
type of
police
simulators.
officers we know, if we know any, they were suckers on the street. I'ma say it.
Yeah. And that's all
I'm
that
going
aggression
to
coming
say
back out on.
no real man that we know decides, oh, you know what? I'm gonna be a police officer. None
You
of
wanna
that I
get
know.
behind that authority.
Well, I got a lot of people that I know who used to be thugs.
And
Great
they became police officers.
Great police officers. Actually, they're approaching retirement.
But see,
Because
those
they've
guys,
been-
those type of
they've
guys
been
can
there.
maintain that balance.
Bingo.
And they know, okay, this is not a cold read situation.
Right.
I don't have to come to this situation with pistol in hand.
Those are the ones that
Or
use
on my
this
pistol.
right here before they use this right here. Okay? And part
It's
of
not
police
many of
work,
them, though. It's not
part of
many.
I
police
never
work.
met any.
Well, I mean, you got a lot of them out there. I'm going to be the one to say it because I interact with them.
Thank you.
Quite
I
a
mean,
bit.
I'm glad to hear it.
There are quite a few good police officers out there. I don't even want to put them
Now,
down.
are they on the street level or are they pushing
No.
paper?
No.
'Cause the
On the
ones
street
that we
level.
see-
Because I can tell you right now, 7D over in DC, okay? 5D, okay? The tough wars, Ward 8, okay? You got police officers over there who actually take youth to the side. I'll give you an example. The young lady that was having an argument and the police officer decided to hold a dance-off against her to de-escalate the situation.
Right, I see
It's
that.
called creative community policing.
And-
And if you're using your head rather than your authority, you got a lot better outcome.
The idea of is that everybody always knew if you grew up in or around the metropolitan area, DC police always been more lenient than PG County,
I think 'cause they
Montgomery
lazy.
County, Virginia. So you can kind of get away with something they can kind of push under the rug in the District of Columbia versus in Virginia or in Prince George's County or in Montgomery County.
Well,
it's
let's-
going to be the whole paper and the whole routine.
Well, let's also say that reputation goes a long way too. Okay, you go in Fairfax County, you ain't messing around. Get on Route 1 and get jammed up and see how you feel. You go in Prince William County, okay, where we are now.
Yeah,
You don't mess around.
yeah, right.
Unless
Get
that's
in
your
and get out.
mentality. You
Get
better
in
do
and
what you
get
gotta
out.
do and be on your way. Okay. PG County, long known for hard
They
charging
had the highest
head,
murder
but
rate.
no
Yeah,
question.
they had the most
You may not
charges
make it out
of
alive.
shootings, and since I,
I
can
mean,
remember.
I can go back all the way back to the Terrence Johnson case back in the 70s, man.
Wow.
It was a rough thing. The young man broke into a laundromat, jacked some quarters out of the machine, and they wound up beating that boy half to death. Okay, but that was the reputation. They had to uphold their reputation. Okay, part of that is a psychological thing to say, if we go at you, you're going to be intimidated by us. Newsflash. If you're an ass, we're already intimidated by you. You got the gun, okay? So at the end of the day, you've accomplished one thing and one thing only: to instill fear, not uphold the law.
Now let me say this about this Black Lives Matter thing. Do you guys think that they taking it too far with this Black Lives Matter, or do you think it's necessary and the columnists and news anchors and all these other different public figures saying that they taking it out of content, you don't really know what it means, and it wasn't for this, it wasn't for that.
Listen,
or
who
are
don't
they
know what it means?
trying to move
Us or them?
the society at large? But I think it's them. I think
Yeah.
they're trying to keep it political because there was a particular reporter had on the Black Lives Matter rubber band on his arm. He caught all types of scrutiny behind it because he wore it when he was actually on the air on CNN.
Well, do remember this. Remember this. One of the goals of the hierarchy is divide and conquer. If you get people together in a movement, let me break it down a little bit further. Part of the movement is agitation. You don't get your clothes clean just by sitting them in water. You got to get them agitated a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? So what you need is a provocateur. Somebody to come out there and say, you know what, I'm standing up for what's right. We need more of that. We haven't had that since the 60s. Okay, we've got comfortable, we've got, kind of, as Paul Mooney might say, your Negro wake-up call.
Real quick,
Okay.
real quick. You think that people are scared now because of Martin and Malcolm, the way that they got killed? Do you think now black leaders are more hesitant to kind of jump in those shoes because
think
they
they're
kind
more
of
lazy.
see what's coming around that corner if you go too far?
I think they're more, I want to say conservative, but I don't want that to mean that there's inaction altogether.
But
okay?
radical, you need to be radical for change.
Well, no question. But they don't see the need for change.
But what about this thing that's going on in Chicago right now? I mean, this thing happened, this murder, if I'm not mistaken, happened over a year ago.
Well, you said it right. It was murder.
Right,
It wasn't police.
They accused him of murder
The
now.
kid came out with a knife,
Yeah.
okay, and you fired 16, you emptied your clip.
Yeah.
There's no excuse when you know that one shot, officers are trained, center mass on your body.
Yeah.
That's why they have the silhouette that only shows the top half. They're not aiming for your legs, they're going for the broad part of your body. So the first shot put the boy down.
Yeah,
The
small
second
frame
shot-
like that is gonna ruin
The
the
second
boy.
shot subdued him. He's on the ground. Bop, 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 bop.
What a knife.
Click.
And all he has is a knife.
He heard
Already
click.
on the ground.
Yeah.
He heard click at the end of all of those shots. And you could say he was in a zone, he was in a haze, he was in whatever. What he was at that point was a criminal. And he should go to jail.
But why did it take so long?
Scared. And it was a black light.
But you gotta
And it
understand,
didn't
you have
matter.
to
Called a
understand too
badge
that
on his arm.
when you
Yeah,
take-
I mean,
when
see,
you
this
take-
happened last year.
when the police is being took, they got the whole police department and the city or county, wherever it is, behind them.
I
They
read
got
this
lawyers, top line lawyers, the whole thing. They got the machine behind them.
I read
So
this
you really
morning.
gonna have to prove it.
That police force, and I think we've all known this, the big blue wall that they all stand behind, one of the biggest and baddest gangs in America. Okay?
Law enforcement.
You better
One of
talk
the
about
biggest
it.
and baddest gangs.
They come second to the
You
government.
better talk
Bruh,
about it.
you ain't talking about the Bloods, you ain't
No,
talking
they
about
the
the Crips.
hitmen for the government.
You talking about people out here, and I'm not saying all police officers are with this, okay? Because you do have a few that will stand up and say
but if
this
you
is
ain't
wrong.
with it, if you ain't with it,
Well, you get
they gonna
ostracized.
sidestep.
Yeah, you get serpicoated.
Because I have this thing where back in the day it used to be with this alcohol bootleg. Okay, the government took it, made it legal. They had back in the day and the larger cities where there was number running. Okay, the government took it and created the lottery. You can't shake no dice on the corner, but you can go to any casino in America and shake all the dice you want. But if you get caught on the corner, they lock you up for gambling.
Tax revenue, baby.
I
You
said they ain't
see,
getting it.
so when we talk about them being a gang or a mob,
Ain't it the same as
or-
alcohol
or
and
mafia,
and
then
reefer
that's
and
the
all
kind
that?
Yeah,
of
you put the
things.
tax on there, you put the stamp on it at the government, and they get their
Those
cut.
were the kind of things that the mafia were doing, and these gangs were doing, and running numbers.
Right.
Then you had the Kennedys, even with bootlegging alcohol, and then gambling and the whole shot. All this stuff was illegal.
Right.
The government took it. Okay, since y'all love it, we're gonna take it and make it legal. But you got to
But
come
tax
see us to do it.
Right, well,
So we
okay.
get our share of it.
I'm
not
not totally against that. If that's what you want to do, if you want to legalize marijuana, you want to legalize whatever, prostitution,
I'm against
whatever.
I'm against
well,
it.
I'm
I'm
saying,
against
here's the deal. Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Whether it's legal or illegal,
Why not?
you got people out here who are souped up on pharmaceuticals right now.
What's next?
Okay.
Why not?
Well,
You can't look at what they're doing. But a lot of times what they do, it's like propaganda.
Alcohol is
They set
legal.
the atmosphere, but they gonna set the atmosphere for then it's gonna be whatever go. They might as well legalize
No,
dope
what's
and
gonna
cocaine.
mess it up is when they get their hands on it. Like right
Their hands
now,
on it
we
now.
don't know anyone that's overdosed off
No.
of weed, have we?
No.
Ain't nobody stole
I had a cousin
nobody.
I
No,
thought did.
what they did,
No,
what
no.
they did overdose on
Ain't
is
nobody
that
overdosed.
synthetic marijuana.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
I was
that's
gonna say.
man-made
When
stuff.
they start messing with it, then that's when we'll have problems.
Yeah.
Okay,
See,
but-
see, this is the idea though. If you gotta look at the bigger picture, they're going after these people that's selling this synthetic.
They didn't already
Weed
shut
over
that
there.
down, didn't they?
It's the purpose. They're gonna shut it down because listen, you gotta come and get it from us.
Okay.
No other places, because if you think about it, the people that
Synthetic
had it
marijuana
was
is
the
killing
gas
people,
stations,
man.
the
Yes.
mom and pop stores,
Right.
the little smaller.
But that's
institutions.
killing folks. Regular reefer ain't killing nobody.
I don't know nobody.
What
that
you
did
I
mean?
don't
that.
know nobody ever died on.
So if you
on
die slow or you die fast,
marijuana.
which-
Well,
What's
hold on,
okay?
hold on, hold
Question
on.
Oh, I
for
was
you.
about to say-
Question. Wait a minute. Question for you. You gonna die slow? How you gonna die slow off weed?
you die slow if you put any type of smoke in your lungs.
Okay, but my thing is, alcohol's the same thing.
And all of it is
You see
wrong.
people going up a tree in alcohol.
All of it is wrong. I'm saying like this. It's so many things that's going on with this thing because they telling the youth, okay, that we're gonna legalize, you gotta come get it from us. But what they're not saying is the private industries and business and companies still don't have to hire you. If you have a dirty urinalysis, you're not getting in 90% of these
Well, and
businesses.
that's what we know. So we will
Well, we
already
gonna make
know
it
whether
legal
it's
for you.
legal
You
or
can
not
take
to
part.
do. That
Well,
I can't both do that and keep the job
Do
that I
understand this? It's freedom of choice. You
Mhm.
choose to get high or you choose to go to work.
Mhm.
Those who skirt the issue and try to do both,
Mhm.
eventually, I ain't making no confessions here, nothing, but eventually, you do get caught up.
You will.
Okay.
You will get
Okay.
caught
People
up.
walking around with other men's pee in their drawers, kids stuff in their, trying to stay legal.
To get-
They
to
just
get the
put
test
Snoop
done.
Dogg. They just use Snoop Dogg as a poster boy for this new marijuana line. It's legal. It's legal now. I mean,
Okay,
it's
so this
big
is all
business.
part.
So-
This is all part of the mafia. This is all part of the government. This is the biggest gang that's out there in this country. Is the law
In the-
enforcement
in
and
the
the government
world.
in the world. Okay, so my thing is we didn't went from Springfield, South Carolina. Okay,
Spring Valley.
Spring Valley, South Carolina, to this cop beating up this little girl. We didn't went from Chicago to this police officer finally being convicted of murder after a year.
Not convicted, just charged.
Just
It's just charged.
At this time, just
That
charged.
makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Now, what about the Freddie Gray case? His family got like $5 or $6 million for the civil suit.
Right.
But what happened to the officers with that?
Oh, it's still,
Well,
it's still,
it's
the
ongoing.
trial is pending. Only
Okay.
one has
It's
been on
ongoing.
trial so far.
It's ongoing.
Maybe one or
It's
two,
ongoing.
but I've only heard one at this point.
But that's
this
not
broadcast.
even. Look, what about the little boy in Missouri that had the BB gun that the police killed? What about the
Is that
dude
the
when
one-
they went in the building in New York and said the police was doing a routine check and it was a manufacturer or it was they called it a product malfunction or equipment malfunction that the gun went off. They said the cop was right-handed, but he had the gun in his left hand and the flashlight in his right hand.
Okay.
So when he went upstairs and the little boy or the boy and the girl was in there, the gun went off and killed the boy. You ain't heard nothing else about that.
Well, okay, here's another one you haven't heard about. Okay, and it's been a minute since it's happened. The dude that got stopped for a traffic violation, okay, and the officer shot him in the back.
Shot him in the back, yeah.
Okay, they showed it on TV where the guys actually, and that's another thing too. We're seeing this graphically, okay, which means when people are recording this, you know, the officer is not stupid enough not to believe he's being recorded. They came on the scene after the fact and threw a throwdown weapon on the man to try to say, we're going to cover ourselves. Again, the blue wall is effective.
And how do these
Hey, look,
people dying in
at this point right now,
jail
y'all, I know it's interesting, and we like giving it to y'all.
You get locked
We're
up.
gonna have to leave y'all at this point right now.
And
We're watching Sportz on YouTube.com. Thank you.